It took two world wars costing over 100 million lives and more than $1 trillion for humanity to realize that everyone is born free and deserves to live with dignity and equal rights. In 1948, representatives from different regions and cultures drafted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights to promote peace among nations. Today, after witnessing what an illegal state is doing, we wonder how effective the so-called Declaration of Human Rights and the United Nations truly are. The UN has clearly failed to protect what it was supposed to protect. But did you know that over 1,400 years ago, in the 17th century Medina, a charter promoting peace and religious freedom was not only drafted but also successfully implemented in the city? The Prophet of Islam made the Madinah Charter, which turned a society that was fighting within itself into a peaceful and functioning community. In this video, we will understand how he did this unbelievable task.
يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي
When the Prophet migrated to Medina, the population there was divided into four sections. First, the Muslims. The Muslims were divided into two groups. The Ansar, who were the local Muslims living in Medina. The Muhajirun, who were the Muslims who had migrated from Mecca to Medina. The hypocrites, those who had apparently become Muslims but were disbelievers at heart. The idolaters. The idolaters were divided into two tribes, the Aus and the Khazraj. The Jews. The Jews had three tribes, Banu Qaynuna, Banu Nadir, and Banu Qurayza. This society was not a peaceful one. Tribes used to fight to the death, and tribalism was more important to them than their gods. Members of each tribe were expected to prioritize the well-being of their tribe above their personal needs and had to fight to the death to ensure the supremacy of their tribe. After centuries of fighting, they understood that mediation was necessary and could be done only by an outsider who is both neutral and trustworthy, and someone who had nothing to do with the tribal issues. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, known for his peacemaking skills, fulfilled all the criteria of being an effective mediator. So, he was invited to Medina for this purpose. In our recent video, we discussed how the Prophet, after reaching Medina, dealt with the challenge of fostering smooth bonding between hundreds of immigrant Muhajirun and the local Ansar of Medina. Be sure to watch it from the description of this video. The Prophet paired each immigrant with a local and declared brotherhood or sisterhood between them. While the Ansar and Muhajirun, both being Muslims, bonded perfectly, the real challenge was to make Medina a peaceful city by bringing together the non-Muslim tribes that had been fighting for generations. A peace treaty in the form of a charter had to be drafted so that each tribe would feel that they had benefited from it. The first clause, "They are a single community," represents the main message and the goal of the entire charter. This marked the creation of a unified community, and the charter served as a binding document in a city of diverse groups, cultures, religions, and languages. The Prophet came to Medina with a spirit of tolerance, and it is for this tolerance that Muslims have looked at the religion of the people in the lands they conquered with respect. They did not interfere with their beliefs, nor touch their churches. Clause 25 of the Charter says, "The Jews are a community along with the believers. To the Jews, their religion, and to the Muslims, their religion." This statement ties in with the verse from the Quran which says, "There is no compulsion in religion." And it says, "Those who believe, Jews, Christians, and the Sabians, and does right, surely their reward is with their Lord." F.E. Peters explains the contracting parties, although they did not embrace Islam, did recognize the Prophet's authority, accepting him as the community leader and abiding by his political judgments. F.E. Peters, in his book Muhammad and the Origins of Islam, explains, "The Prophet, as shown in the clause 25, did not impose Islam on the people of Medina. Instead, he allowed them to practice their own religions and customs freely. He created an ummah not by rejecting other ways of life or declaring Islam as the only religion, but by uniting all inhabitants under shared ethical and moral principles that are common to all humans and religions." Clause 40 declares that the protected neighbor is as the man himself so long as he does no harm and does not act treacherously, which means that the protected neighbor should be treated with the same care, consideration, and respect as one would treat oneself. It implies that their well-being and safety are to be valued and protected, just like one's own, as long as they uphold the community's ethical standards and do not betray its trust. Now, let's discuss an interesting aspect of the Madinah Charter. Were all the members of society considered citizens of Medina? Was the concept of citizenship similar to the modern citizenship? Or was it more advanced? The Medina Constitution laid foundational principles that are crucial even today. One of the core principles is the concept of citizenship. In contrast to historical and modern contexts, where Muslims in countries like England and France often face discrimination and are considered second-class citizens due to their colonial past, the Medina Constitution granted equal citizenship to all members of the Ummah. This inclusion was groundbreaking, allowing anyone to become a full member of the community, regardless of their background. Justice. The Medina Constitution became a vehicle for achieving justice within the Islamic State. A key line from the Constitution highlights, "Any Jew who follows us is entitled to our assistance and the same rights as any one of us without injustice or partisanship." Security and defense. I find this to be one of the most intriguing principles mentioned in the Madinah Charter. The Charter states, "The town of Yathrib shall constitute a sanctuary for the parties of this agreement." Yathrib, as many of you know, is the old name for Medina. This provision ensured security for anyone who is trying to escape persecution by seeking refuge in Medina. For instance, the Masjid al-Haram is considered the ultimate sanctuary for all Muslims. Similarly, the Islamic State of Medina was seen as a sanctuary for anyone seeking protection. According to the Madinah Charter, everyone should feel safe and secure in the city unless they commit an injustice or a crime. This principle mirrors modern societies where committing a crime results in the loss of personal liberties. In Medina, as long as individuals did not commit crimes, they were assured safety and security. Another important principle is defense. The Charter states, "The people of this charter shall come to the help of one another against whoever attacks Yathrib." This meant that the defense of the city and the state was above personal, tribal, and groups. If one part of the Islamic State was attacked, the entire state was considered under attack, creating a united front for defense. These principles of citizenship, justice, pluralism, security, and defense laid the foundation for a model Islamic state that flourished for centuries. Unfortunately, many modern Muslim countries struggle with these principles. They often rate low in creating pluralism, a sense of citizenship, justice, fairness, and protection for those seeking refuge, or even their own citizens. Not many YouTube channels offer this type of informative content that we provide that uncovers the hidden aspects of the Islamic history. If you wish to support our work, please share our videos and subscribe to this channel. This is the Illumination signing off.